Well, just further, Taoiseach, on the issue of abortion rights in the North, and I think anybody who is even vaguely interested in fighting for unity on this island would understand that the unprecedented movement from below of young people and young women in particular, unwilling to accept the control of their bodies and the right to bodily autonomy by the state, was a movement that was an all-Ireland movement. There were busloads of women and young activists and people who want a progressive future for this Ireland who came down and campaigned for repeal and helped that fantastic social and political earthquake that was the repeal of the 8th. And it was fully understood and very quickly reciprocated on an all-Ireland basis that young women and young activists and people of a progressive mindset went north of the border to immediately say the North must be next. That's the sort of way in which we can actually undercut the sectarianism brought by partition and unite people on a progressive basis. And it's really disappointing to hear anybody who considers themselves even vaguely associated with republicanism defending attempts to keep women in this country in the dark ages and work alongside the DUP in doing so.
Taoiseach, please. Could we hear the Taoiseach?
First of all, I think Deputy Neil Richmond tabled the question, and I would say to him that in terms of the alignment of restrictions between Northern Ireland and the Republic, we have been very much aligned up to now, and will remain so until the 5th of April, and indeed that may extend, because notwithstanding the progress that Northern Ireland has made on the vaccination programme, there will be, they may have a phased approach to the easing of restrictions there. I would make the point that essentially, overall, the Northern Ireland has been part of the UK vaccination programme. We've been part of the EU-wide vaccination programme, and that's well known. So there hasn't been an all-Ireland approach on vaccination for obvious reasons in terms of the source of the supply. So I don't know why that issue got raised just now, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. No. Ideally, it would be great, but we're not in that ideal situation. What would be useful, I think, would be if we had alignment on mandatory quarantining. I don't believe that. I think the Northern Ireland Executive might have said it has plans, but I'm not so sure where those plans are or how concrete they are in terms of realisation. But obviously, it would be very, very important if there was alignment in terms of the mandatory hotel quarantining. And obviously people coming through the North will be subject to that legal framework if they come into the Republic. But it is an important issue that Deputy Richmond has raised. Also, I would point out that there has been good cooperation in the regions between North and South, and particularly in terms of the North-South regional group, the North-West, sorry, councils. In an earlier phase, in phase 2, both county councils in Donegal and Derry-Strabane issued localised leaflets, at least to make the public in that region aware of the restrictions locally. And that's the type of practical cooperation on the ground that we should encourage around restrictions, and encouraging people to adhere to the guidelines that generally apply to COVID-19 and to the prevention of COVID-19. We will continue to work and engage, particularly through that group of officials that I mentioned, which regularly meets on a constant basis, to work in consort with the Northern Ireland authorities and to iron out any potential issues or difficulties that may arise. And in terms of the broader issue of the provision of abortion services, I think in the first instance, no one should have a veto, in my view, on general policy issues of that kind. And in terms of, again, I haven't engaged in that issue, and I haven't had discussions with the First Minister or the Deputy First Minister, nor have they had with me, and nor have they raised the issue with me either, in terms of how that is being provided for within the North, and in terms of the issues of devolution versus legislative initiatives from Westminster. Neither have raised that issue with me at all.